Welcome back to Nintendo's Bros podcast. I'm Derek.
And I'm Pete. You forgot the name of our podcast?
Didn't I say Nintendo Bros podcast?
Yeah, you had a long pause.
It's because I said Nintendo's actually accidentally, but Nintendo Bros podcast.
Yep.
Today we're going to be reviewing another game, another indie title. In fact,
What game?
We're going to be reviewing Into the Breach, or I guess I'll be reviewing Into the Breach.
Okay. Because I've only seen it being played, not played it myself.
Yes. Okay. So just me then.
Okay. So why don't you give us a little background on the game and tell us about it?
Yeah. So Into the Breach came out. Let me think about this. Maybe in September 2018. You could probably can look up the publisher right now because I don't know who actually published it. But it's a roguelite where so if you die, everything resets. Strategy RPG is what I would say. So if you've ever played Fire Emblem or Advance Wars, it's very similar to that, except that when you lose all of your units and stats, and it resets and you have to start again. Like you go back in time is actually what happens. You time warp back to the beginning.
Is it like so you have to start the whole game all over again, or what do you get to bring some like power-ups back?
So the only thing you got to bring back is you basically have 3 pilots and 3 different mechs, and when you reset, you can choose one of your pilots to go back in time, provided that your pilot hasn't died in the game. So like so if you can game over without dying, so if your character is still alive, you can reset the time with him.
And then keep all of his upgrades.
Yeah, so if he's leveled up to I
Okay.
think it's 3 levels per pilot, so you can get level 3 and then he'll have those same stats. But again, if he dies anytime the next time, then you lose him and you have to bring back a different pilot. But you can keep bringing back the same pilot if you play carefully.
Okay.
The other thing that you can go back in time with is you unlock achievements basically. So like you get a different loadout. Like you get 3 mechs and they all have a certain function, and there's achievements you're going to get for those mechs. And then after you reset, you can spend those achievement points to unlock different mech loadouts. So I think there's, I want to say 10 mech loadouts, maybe 8. I think it's 10. And they all have totally different themes and ways of playing. So you have to keep switching up your mech loadouts, getting different achievements, buying a new mech loadout. So there's a lot of variety there. Even though you keep kind of replaying the same game, there's a lot of difference, variety there.
Okay. Just a little background information on Into the Breach. It's developed and published by Subset Games. It was released on the PC in February 27th this year, 2018, and then on Mac and Nintendo Switch in August.
Oh, August.
Late August for Switch. Not yet on the PS4 or Xbox One. It has very high reviews, 90 on Metacritic.
Mm-hmm.
So, tell us, what do you think of the game?
I really, really like it. So I'm someone that I first bought the game Bad North, and if you've listened to our other podcasts, I'm not a big fan of Bad North. It's the same, actually very similar style of game.
Similar idea.
It's a strategy RPG. It's like kind of a grid-based game. It's a roguelite where you go back and you reset everything when you game over. But that game, I did not click with me. I didn't like it. I'd already deleted off my Switch, never to be seen again.
Wow.
Yeah. But this game, after leaving the same genre of game, leaving a bad taste in my mouth, I just read the reviews about this game and I said, I'm just going to buy it and see what it's all about. And I'm glad I did. This game is now my favorite game to play while I travel. It's just so, you can just pick it up, you can play for 5 minutes, you can play for an hour, and then if you game over or you beat the game, you can just restart again, switch up all your mechs, go for a different achievement, start with a different island, fight different enemies, change the difficulty, change your pilots, change your upgrades. Like there's so much variability.
There seems to be a lot of games like that now, where it's like the game's extremely short, but has some sort of random element. You can beat it, but you have to beat it so many different ways and beat it in different styles with different loadouts and characters to unlock more.
Yeah, it's very similar to that game that you and I were playing last weekend.
Well, it's very much like Dead Cells. It's very much like Risk of Rain. Is it like a roguelite? Is that kind of what those are called?
Roguelites basically, as far as I understand, is when you die, you reset almost everything.
I mean, here's the thing. I like a roguelite for some styles of games, and I feel like for a game like Dead Cells or Risk of Rain, where it's very over-the-top action heavy, it can be really fun because it encourages doing different loadouts with different weapons. But for a game like this, I'm not so sure I wouldn't just prefer it to be more like Advance Wars or Fire Emblem and have a beginning and ending and go through a story, you know what I mean? And maybe give me options of how to play through that story. But to be such a quick story that you can beat so quickly and then to redo it again and beat it and redo it again, like something like Risk of Rain is cool, same idea, but I would have preferred if it just had the 12 levels and I could stop at level 4 and take a break.
Oh, see,
Save it,
I'm the
you know?
opposite. This game, no way. This game is the part of its fun is that you lose or die, and you say, okay, should I try it again, lower the difficulty, go to a different island, different upgrades, and do the same loadout, or should I change my loadout completely from, there's one loadout that does heavy damage, there's one loadout that does a lot of pushing, one loadout that does a lot of paralysis. So it's like you have to keep changing your strategy. So I still have not got bored of it, and the next time I travel, I'll probably keep playing it again, and I've sunk tons of hours into it, and it hasn't got repetitive at all for me.
I mean, imagine this. This is a little bit off topic, but it's talking about the genre. So something like this or Bad North, where you kind of have this randomized level by level sequence. Would you rather it be something where you have 100? Let's say because it's randomly generated, right? So they
Yeah. I mean,
so there's
yeah.
some sort of randomizer.
Yep.
But what if the game had used that same randomizer to make 100 levels, and then of scaling difficulty, and you could go different directions and go this path or that way and hit new islands on the way. It's like a big world map with 100 levels that takes so many hours to complete. You can change your loadout and develop strategies and upgrade and everything. You'd still rather it be this random version that, I don't. I'm like, my
for
point
this,
is
honestly, I know it sounds crazy because I'm someone that loves Fire Emblem. Like I played every Fire Emblem since Game Boy Advance, Fire Emblem 7. So I love the story mode, but I totally think this game works better in that reset kind of theme. This game is like you've probably played 20 levels every time you play the game, and it's just there is something really fun about resetting and totally switching your mech loadout and playing a totally different style of game, even though you're doing somewhat similar maps or similar enemies. It's played totally differently.
interesting.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing that turned me off of this game, actually, and I told you about this, is that I'm really not a fan of the fact that every level takes place on basically the same square checkerboard grid.
Yeah.
And to me, it just kind of takes me out of it. To me, it makes the game less of, let's say, an experience in a world. You know what I mean? Like if I'm playing Fire Emblem and it's, okay, I get it. It's like kind of the same idea, the grid-based strategy RPG. But at the same time, I feel like I'm really just commanding units the way it could happen in a war, and I'm kind of feeling like I'm the commander of the army. When I see the board and the board's the same for every level, I feel like I'm almost just playing a board game adopted into a video game. You know what I mean? Like like Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Or something like that adopted into a game. And I don't know. It just.
I mean, I think
it's such a little thing, but I mean, it kind of just ruins the experience for me.
I think I see this game as there's enough change in each map to make it kind of feel like there is a change, but it's also I kind of like the small tight gameplay that it is. Like it's very small and confined, unlike Fire Emblem where you can have huge sprawling maps. This game is very like, it's a 6x6 grid or 8x8 grid or whatever it is, and it's how well can you manage effectively move each of your units. And each map is only 5 turns, right? You only get 5 turns and that map's over. So it's like how well can you manage those 5 turns in that tight space the most efficient way you possibly can. And sometimes it gets ridiculous how much you have to strategize for one move.
It sounds, I mean, really cool. It just sounds so gamey. Like, you know what I mean? It sounds like it's
very arcadey. It does feel kind of, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like you're just kind of.
You definitely don't feel like you're in the world, right? You definitely feel like it's part of like a game. I don't know how to explain that.
It's almost like a mobile game.
Yeah, I wouldn't say as much of a mobile game, but it's less like there's no real hook of a story. It's more like you're playing each puzzle, right? You're playing each problem.
And that to me is enough of a reason not to buy it.
Well, okay, I think you're missing out, but I mean, just not your genre.
I mean, I guess not. I even Fire Emblem isn't really my genre. It's very hard for me to get into. I am excited for the new one,
Yeah.
but I guess I just like to feel like there's a little bit of world around it. And I think what brought me into the few Fire Emblems I've played were like the cutscenes and presentation, because Fire Emblem Awakening was a beautiful game, and I really enjoyed Advance Wars back on Game Boy Advance. Obviously, Advance. Well, there was one on DS,
Mm.
but it was a really good game. I don't remember which version I played. I think I did play the one on Game Boy Advance, and then I played the one on Dual Strike on DS. But I really enjoyed the presentation in the world and feeling like I'm a little army moving from one place to the next. And to not have that, I don't think I'd feel the same. And I guess in this case with this game, it does look so cool. The art style is so cool that I would just love to see that art style and that approach with the mech strategy RPG with the kind of retro graphics done in that same style as Fire Emblem, where you have the bigger maps with a bigger
Yeah.
strategy, more movement, a more linear story.
I mean, if they
It-
took a bigger budget and did a Fire Emblem with this kind of game where you can get 20 different units and like they all are individual, I would love that too. But I
Yeah.
think for this game, what it aimed to do, it did very, very well.
Okay. So what are some cons? Like, what don't you like?
One of the cons I would say is some of the game feels a little bit. How do I explain this? I wouldn't say it's necessarily short, but it's more like there's upgrades in this game that you never feel like you really can afford to purchase at all, because you get these points and you can only spend them. You only get like 3 an island, and there's 4 islands in the game, so you only spend them so much. And some of the things you can upgrade are like more defense for or life for your island.
Mm-hmm.
So you end up spending a lot there, and then it's kind of like, it gives you this ability where it costs 2 to buy, and you just like there's never an opportunity to really spend that money. So sometimes I see these upgrades, and it's kind of like, there's no way I'm ever going to be able to afford that upgrade. It's kind of strange that it was even offered. So I just feel like it gives you options that are never really options. So
I feel like it's that balancing that a lot of developers get wrong with their the cost of like upgrades in their game. It's the same thing with Dead Cells. Like some of the things I look at, I'm like, man, it would take me forever to upgrade that, and it's clearly just to make me grind the game out for so long, And
Yeah.
even Mario Odyssey, with the amount of coins you have to spend on some of those costumes, it's ridiculous. Like,
Yeah, 10,000.
yeah, it's like, or 9,999. Like, it's a cool costume too, and it's too bad that it's so much. But yeah, I think that's what some of these games do, that are, I guess, the roguelike games that kind of quote unquote go forever. So you can just keep playing over and over again. They need to have those end goals that are so far away that no matter how much you play, you can still get more. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
this-
You
that's
play
not qu-
hundreds
yeah.
of hours.
That's not quite what I meant. It's not necessarily the end goal for this game. It's more like as you progress through the island, you get upgrades, but some of the upgrades you just will never, ever, ever, ever choose. It's like there's always these like the 3 or 4 that are always consistently there that you're always gonna pick, and then there's all these other 20 that you can pick, but it's like there's just no reason to ever spend your valuable currency on those. And then,
So it's basically like some of the power ups are just better than others.
yeah, it's like some of the power-ups are just like they're not cost efficient, and the game's so short that there's no point in buying it and then investing in upgrading it, right? Because some of the power-ups it's like you can buy, and then you have to spend another 4 currency to get it to the maximum level where it's really worthwhile. But it's like, why wouldn't I just upgrade the weapon that comes with my mech originally?
I see. Okay.
So that's the one problem I would say. And then two, the other problem I have is, even though I like unlocking the mechs, I don't really like the achievement system being the way to unlock them. So like some of the achievements are like destroy 3 enemies using this one move, where it makes me feel like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm no longer playing the game well. I'm just trying to get the achievement to unlock more. Where I would rather if they gave me
And
rewards.
that's almost like a trophy style award, right? That's
I know,
really
but the trophy, those trophy awards are how you unlock more mech loadouts.
I know. That's why I'm saying that's not a very satisfying way to get
Exactly. I'd
more
rather it be
characters.
like, oh, beat the game on normal mode, or beat the game on hard mode, or beat the game without
Yeah.
losing any mechs, or losing, like, make it so it's like I'm playing well to get this reward, as opposed to I'm playing the gimmick way that you wanted me to for this one moment.
Yeah, I agree. That sounds lame.
Yeah. So that would, but I mean, once I unlock those loadouts, didn't really care about the achievements. So
How much does the game cost?
I think it's pretty expensive. I think it's $25, something like that.
And you put a lot of how many hours in? Would you say?
I'd say above 15, probably closer to 20 hours.
Okay, cool. So you say it has a lot of content.
Yeah, I mean, if you really like if you like strategy RPGs, and you like kind of tinkering and trying a new thing, and then all these loadouts are really cool. So if you like the different characters of Fire Emblem, for example, and trying different characters, this is the same kind of game, but you can try different loadouts, and then eventually you can unlock where it gives you 3 random mechs, so you don't get a pick anymore. It's totally random, or you get 3 where you can pick from any of the other loadouts. So you can do like 3 of the same one, which is really cool, and it kind of changes how you play.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Into the Breach.
Yeah, it's a good game. So overall for a rating, though, I'd probably give it... I wouldn't go as high as what it's on Metacritic. I'd probably give it more like an 8.
8.0?
Yeah, I give it an 8.0. Like, I don't think it's nowhere near 9 in my opinion, but I also put in 7 territory. Like, this game is a very solid game. It's a fun game, but it's nothing mind-blowing. I'm not going to go tell all my friends about this game and have to download it like I would other games.
Yeah, I'd probably give it a 5.5.
You've never...
I'm just kidding. I haven't played it. No, it actually... You got it, and Dave got it. He raves about it. It sounds really cool. If I was into this style of game, I'd probably be right into it.
Yeah.
So, Derek, you gave it an 8. I guess that concludes our review. If you're listening and you like this, please like, comment, subscribe. It's a review discussion podcast, Nintendo Bros podcast channel.
Yep.
And we're going to keep doing more discussions. So stay tuned. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you liked Into the Breach. Let us know why. Let us know if you didn't buy it. Let us know why. Let us know how often you play it. Let us know why. Let us know why you went Into the Breach.
Yes, Into the Breach.
All right. Signing out.
All right. See you later.